Hey guys, so I'm back with another video on books. Super excited to be doing this video. I know a few people were asking me about book recommendations, so I'm excited to be sharing with you guys all the books that I truly love. And I also wanted to get into the habit of starting my videos out with a card pulling, so any messages that need to get out there for anybody to hear. So I'm excited to be doing this as well. I've already pulled a card beforehand so I could have it ready, and the card that I pulled was Honor and Trust Your Feelings. So this is my Archangel Michael oracle cards, and I'm gonna read it straight from the book so that if there's any specific messages they can just come right out. So honor and trust your feelings. Archangel Michael urges you to look inward and listen, for this card is a sign that your feelings are accurately tuned into the truth. Some of these feelings may be uncomfortable to face, yet they're with you for an important reason. If you're conflicted, sit down with pen and paper and conduct an interview with your emotional self by asking questions like, what are you feeling, why, what, and what would you like me to do? Your feelings speak loudly and clearly if you keep an open mind and trust what you hear. Respect your inner voice as the powerful life force that connects you to the divine. Often, God and the angels answer your prayers and offer you guidance through your physical and emotional feelings. If you say, oh, it's just a feeling, you're ignoring vital divine assistance. This card reminds you to listen, really listen, to your feelings. Possible specific meanings. It's time to admit that you're unhappy in a certain situation and to take appropriate corrective action. Someone's trying to talk to you out of feeling a certain way. Stick to what you know and feel as your barometer. So yes, honor and trust your feelings. It's always great. So I basically divided all my books into different categories. So I'm doing a category on my spiritual books, I have one for health, and I have one on a few books that I like that are about yoga. So I wanted to get started with the books that I have on health. Oh, they're so heavy. So I have here all my medical medium books. And if you guys haven't watched my last video on celery juice, I recommend you watch it. I did talk a little bit already on that video about Anthony Williams and how amazing he is. And basically Anthony Williams, he is an author, and I'm going to read a little bit of the preface so you guys have an idea of who he is and what these books are going to be about. Anthony Williams, the one and only medical medium, has helped tens of thousands of people heal from ailments that have been misdiagnosed or ineffectively treated, or that doctors can't resolve. He's done this by listening to a divine voice that literally speaks into his ear, telling him what lies at the root of people's pain or illness and what they need to do to restore their health. His methods achieve spectacular results even for those who have spent years and many thousands of dollars on all forms of medicine before tuning into him. And before I continue reading on about all these books, I do want to say that these are just my personal beliefs and, all these authors' personal beliefs. I'm not out to attack anybody's, opinions and beliefs and whatnot. These are just my own. And I'm obviously only recommending these books. It's obviously up to you whether these books resonate with you or not. And obviously if they don't, then they're clearly not for you. But yeah, so medical medium, I love all his books. I still to this day follow most of his protocols. So yeah, I love my medical medium books. I definitely recommend everybody gets one of these, just because what better way to heal than naturally with things that you can literally get at the grocery store. And he does mention a few supplements that you could also be taking to help your healing journey. So I totally recommend that one. He also has his book on celery juice, which, like I said, if you're ever down to, go on this journey of drinking celery to heal your body, your mind, your soul, I totally recommend this book as well. He totally goes into detail, into lots of details on celery and what it does to your body, how to take it, how to make it, and all that good stuff. And then I also have his liver rescue book, and this book, it's so funny because never in a million years would I thought that I would form this intimate relationship with my liver, but I have, and I love my liver so much, and I'm always watching out for her, taking care of her. I even named her, and I'm not gonna tell you what her name is. But yeah, I think it's very important for you to get in touch with your body, and to realize and become aware of the signs when something's wrong. So this book, I totally recommend this book. Of course I would want you to read his first book first, but This is also a really good one. He goes into healing eczema, diabetes, strep, acne, gout, bloating, gallstones, adrenal stress, fatigue, fatty liver, weight issues, and autoimmune disease. So that and more. So I totally recommend this. Another good book. And also towards the end of his books, he always has like super yummy recipes. Like he has this watermelon slushy, which I make all the time. He has like tacos, lentil tacos. He has a whole bunch of stuff that you guys could try out. But yeah, as far as health, this is what I recommend. And I also added to my health category, I added this book, which is one of my favorites, is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And I love this book so much because as equally effective it is to heal all the physical ailments that you may have, it's also effective for you to heal your internal issues and your spiritual, traumas and things that you've, dealt with in the past that you need to retouch, resurface so that you could get them to heal, if that makes any sense. And basically this book, it goes from basically a childhood standpoint, and it takes you through any traumas and any things that you might have dealt with as a child to an adult that you may still be carrying as some sort of baggage or trauma that you may not be aware of, but it's basically the main ruling agent in why you are angry and why you are sad and why you are depressed and you have anxiety and all of that. And yeah, I totally love this book. If you're looking for an alternative healing method to your, whatever you got going on, totally recommend this book. And yeah, one of my favorite parts about this book is also that she has this like diagnosis chart towards the end. Let's see if I can find it. So she has like this, she has this diagnosis chart where she will put, for example, let's see if I can find a good one. She'll have like problem cause, and new thought pattern. So for example, the problem, rash. The problem cause is irritation over delays, babyish way to get attention. And then she'll have new thought pattern. I love and approve of myself. I am at peace with the process of life. So that's a beautiful affirmation for you to affirm to yourself to heal, the rash or whatever dilemma that may come with that. Yeah, and I love this book. It's really good. And in between all her pages, she'll have these beautiful affirmations. And she also has patient stories and things like that. Louise Hay is a wonderful soul. I totally recommend this book if you're into that alternate healing methods. But yeah, love it. So that's all I have for my healing health books. And then I'm gonna do, these aren't all my books, but I did pick the ones that I feel were more appropriate to share. So for my yoga books, I have the Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. So this book is about this luminous soul. This is a life-changing book. This is a very profound book about self-realization, activation, and awakening. So if you're into that kind of thing, right? If this is, your cup of tea, then I totally recommend it. I was gonna try and read a little quote from each book, but I honestly, there's just so much. There's a few parts that I have highlighted that I feel like reading, just so that you can get a bit of like the essence of the book to see if it sits well with you or not. So this part, I remember I love reading this part. Like every time I read it, I'm like, wow. So in this part, he's basically questioning his guru, his master, and he's telling him that the Adam and Eve story is incomprehensible to him. And then his master responds amused, and he says, Genesis is a deeply symbolic and cannot be grasped by a literal interpretation, he explained. Its tree of life is the human body. The spinal cord is like an upturned tree with man's hair as its roots and afferent nerves as branches. The tree of the nervous system bears many enjoyable fruits or sensations of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. In these, man may rightfully indulge, but he was forbidden the experience of sex, the apple, at the center of the body, in the midst of the garden. And then he goes on to explain the symbolism and the interpretation, his interpretation of the serpent and so on and so forth. But yeah, like I said, these are his beliefs, my beliefs. We're all entitled to our own beliefs. And I totally, recommend this book if you're up for it, if you're up for a self-realization journey. This book is super profound. It's golden. It's not for everyone, but definitely it's a beautiful journey to go on reading this book. So I recommend this, you know, if you're trying to get into yoga, spirituality, meditation, and all that good stuff. I also have this one in my yoga category. So this book is called How Yoga Works, and this book is golden. I feel like all of these books are golden, and I hope that I am doing them just a little bit of justice, because these books are all so profound. And basically this book is a story, and it takes this girl who she was traveling, and she gets captured by these like prison guards, and she gets captured by them, she gets thrown in jail, and basically it's the journey of her teaching them the art of yoga and the actual meaning of what it is to do yoga and how yoga works. But yeah, you totally have to read it to really understand it. But if you ever want to get into yoga and you need like a little bit of a push and a little bit of inspiration, I totally recommend this book, because it goes above and beyond about the definition of what yoga is. This book, amazing. Yeah, that's like my top 3. And then that's all that I have for my yoga books. And then the rest of my books are all like my spirituality books, my self-help books, all that, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna start with Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I love this book a lot. Looks like it's gonna rain. The lighting's getting terrible, but I'm gonna continue anyway. So Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This book is amazing. How common people are doing the uncommon. This is a beautiful book that teaches you how to tap into your power, into your magic. I'm gonna see if he has like a little, if I have a little quote anywhere. Let's see. Okay, so this is in the introduction. I wrote this book to take what I've always thought was possible to the next level of understanding. I wanted to demonstrate to the world that we can create better lives for ourselves, and that we are not linear beings living linear lives, but dimensional beings living dimensional lives. Hopefully reading it will help you understand that you already have all the anatomy, chemistry, and physiology you need to become supernatural, sitting latent within you, waiting to be awakened and activated. So I'm gonna turn off this music and see if I don't like it. But yeah, what I love about Dr. Joe is that he does such an amazing job about combining the spiritual with the science, because that tends to be a really big issue about, you know, spirituality, that you can't prove it, you know, like anything, it's hard to prove. But what he does is that he proves it. He uses scientists and he uses all these things to prove how your energy flows through all your chakras. He goes through all the chakras and he tells you how they work, how to access them, how to heal them, how to tap into them. So this is an amazing book if you want to jump into, you know, the law of attraction and into aligning all your chakras and learning a little bit more about that. But yeah, I totally recommend this book. I'm rereading it now because it's one of those books that you have to read twice to get. The same with Paramahansa. That book I had to read twice to like really grasp what it was trying to say. I guess I'll leave this one for last because it's one of my favorites. Next, I have Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I love this book so much. This book is one of my top 3 as well. This book is basically a story of her life. It's like a real, you know, life story about, she basically was married. She had this like perfect life. She had a house, she had a perfect job, perfect husband, everything, and yet she felt unfulfilled, she felt unhappy. And what she did is that she eventually got a divorce. She went into this spiraling depression, and she ended up like abandoning her life to travel the world for 1 year to visit Italy, India, and Indonesia. And that's where she eats, you know, like she eats in Italy, she prays in India, and she loves in Indonesia. So I love this book so much, and it's super cool to see how she awakens. Like you can read her awakening, and it's super powerful and super cool. I totally recommend this book. And what I like about books like this, along with the how yoga works, is that they're stories. So books that are stories are easier to read. You know, you sort of get involved and you want to know what happens next. And some of these are more like educational, so they may be a little bit of a harder read. But this one, along with that other one, are totally easy reads. Totally recommend this one. Oh, and there's also a movie on that book, Eat, Pray, Love. But don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie at all. Just read the book. Next, I have this one I'm currently reading. I'm almost done. I'm literally like just a few pages away from finishing. This is Anatomy of the Spirit, The 7 Stages of Power and Healing by Carolyn Myss. This book is also super cool. This lady, she is so, she's another one of those luminous beings. And she basically, what she did is she combined the 7 chakras with the 7 Christian sacraments, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. And these other 7 Buddhist principles. And what she did is that she found this like medium where all of those principles meet at different points, and then she basically explains how you can use that to empower yourself and, you know, to empower your life and lead a more you know, live a more awakened and aware life. And like I said, my words don't do it justice, but this book, super good. I want to see if I can find a quote, something cute to read. If I cannot. But yeah, she also shows you how to tap into your intuitive guidance, energy, medicine, and intuition, the human energy field. Like, she goes into everything, and I love it so much. I was looking for a quote to see if I had highlighted anything, but I have not. Enhancing Inner Power. This is a super dope book if you want to align your chakras, heal them, and tap into your power. This is one of those books. This is a New York Times bestseller. But yeah, one of my faves. And then last 3 books right here. So I have The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is a beautiful book. I always recommend this book to all my friends. I recommend this to my sister, to my boyfriend. I've had like everybody that I know like read this. I hope they've all read it. And basically the way that I see this book is as a beautiful foundation for life. Despite, you know, your religion, your beliefs, your lifestyle, whatever it is, I feel like this is a beautiful foundation, which is love, compassion, you know, understanding for human life. And clearly that's a beautiful foundation for anybody to have. And The 4 Agreements is written by Don Miguel Ruiz, which he is a Toltec, his lineage is from Toltec people. And I want to see if he talks a little bit. Okay, so here, the Toltec. Thousands of years ago, the Toltec were known throughout southern Mexico as women and men of knowledge. Anthropologists have spoken of the Toltec as a nation or a race, but in fact, the Toltec were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and practices of the ancient ones. They came together as masters, naguals, and students at the Teotihuacan, the ancient city of pyramids outside Mexico City, known as the place where man becomes God. Pretty cool. But yeah, this is basically like his heritage, his lineage, where he comes from, and where he, you know, gets all his wisdom from. So I want to see if I could read a little bit. I don't want to spoil it. If I read a little bit, I guess I'll spoil it. I'll just read this part. It says, there was this one man, he was sleeping in a cave, and he dreamed that he saw his own body sleeping. He came out of the cave on the night of a new moon. The sky was clear, and he could see millions of stars. Then something happened inside of him that transformed his life forever. He looked at his hands, he felt his body, and he heard his own voice say, I am made of light. I am made of stars. He looked at the stars again, and he realized that it's not the stars that create light, but rather the light that creates the stars. Everything is made of light, he said, and the space in between isn't empty. Life is the force of the absolute, the supreme, the creator who creates everything. So those were just little snippets of what this book talks about, but I guess the conclusion of this book are the 4 agreements. 4 agreements that you basically should live by. Totally recommend this. And he also has this book, The Mastery of Love, which is beautiful, especially if, you know, you've had issues with love, you know, heartbreak, this, that. I'm sure we've all been there. But The Mastery of Love, what a beautiful book. I love it so much. I want to see if I can read a little bit of it. I'm gonna stop reading them because I don't want to like give it away. Yeah, this book, recommend. And then the last book that I'm gonna recommend is The Untethered Soul. This is definitely my top 3. I feel like I say top 3 for all of them, but they're all great. So this is The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael A. Singer. I'm gonna see if I find like a quote or something from here. Okay, I'm gonna read this part. I really like this part of the book. So he says that your relationship with God is the same as your relationship with the sun. If you hid from the sun for years and then chose to come out of your darkness, the sun would still be shining as if you had never left. You don't need to apologize. You just pick your head up and look at the sun. It's the same way when you decide to turn toward God. You just do it. If instead you allow guilt and shame to interfere, that's just your ego blocking the divine force. You can't offend the divine one. Its very nature is light, love, compassion, protection, and giving. You can't make it stop loving you. It's just like the sun. You can't make the sun stop shining on you. You can only choose not to look at it. The moment you look, you'll see it's there. It's basically like if you said, I don't believe the sun is real, you know, or I don't believe God is real. And you can believe that, you know, but it's still there. And then he has, let's see. So towards the end of his book, this is the last page on his book. He says, contemplate this and let go of the idea of a judgmental God. You have a loving God. In truth, you have love itself for a God. And love cannot do other than love. Your God is in ecstasy and there's nothing you can do about it. And if God is in ecstasy, I wonder what he sees when he looks at you. So I hope that gave you a little bit of the essence of this book. It's called The Untethered Soul. I'm gonna try and link all these books down to like a website to see if maybe you guys can just purchase it from there. And I'm also gonna try and list them from first to last, I guess, that you should buy, because with these books, I do feel that you need like a foundation. You can't just like hop into a random one, because if you haven't read like, let's say, a few books on the chakras and on what souls are and this and that, then you're basically gonna just go past the point of the other books. Another book that I recommend that I don't have here, I let my boyfriend borrow it. It's called Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss, and that book is amazing, especially if you want to get to know more about souls. He is basically this psychologist, or he's like a therapist or something, and he goes into like these therapy sessions with his patients, and he's obviously had permission from his patients to put all that work out there, and he has put them in such deep states of hypnosis that he's able to tap into their past lives and who they were in their past lives. And there's even clinics here in Orlando that are called past life regression clinics, where you can literally like pay or make an appointment and they'll take you to your past lives, if you know possible. I don't know how that works. I've never done it, but I do want to do it. And I wanted, just before the video ends, to tell you guys which ones you guys should get first. I totally recommend this one for you to get first if you were to, you know, to like and resonate with any of these recommendations, because this book, like I said, it's a foundation. This is the foundation to life, to how we should all be living, but you know, some of us aren't there yet. But this one, and then after this one, I would say read Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss. And I think after this, you could read Eat, Pray, Love. After that, I say do whatever you want, because after reading those books, you should have more than enough of a foundation to comprehend the rest of the books. I hope that some of these resonate with you guys. I hope that some of you guys do check these out. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you guys like them. And I do want to hear if you guys have any other recommendations for my future videos. I do love hearing what you guys want to see. And also, before I finish my video, let me get some water. I wanted to talk about this special announcement that I have planned for my next video. So my next video, I think I'm gonna be doing a Whole Foods haul. because a lot of people ask me about what I buy there and, you know, health wise, like what type of foods they should be getting. So I'm gonna do a Whole Foods haul on all the stuff that I usually get from there. And in that video, I'm gonna do a special announcement with my sister, and we're gonna, you know, tell you guys a few details of this project that we're working on, and we may or may not do a giveaway. But yeah, guys, I'm super excited to share that with you, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that these recommendations were useful to you guys, and yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.